If you've been in the market for a home in 2022 at any point in time, you've probably been discouraged at some point with how your search has progressed. You want a house, congratulations. You can go find a house. The bigger challenge now is affordability with rising interest rates. Lauren and I have a potential fix for that, and she's going to tell you about it. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of A Lending Hand with Lauren and Eric.
So we want to explain to you guys what a 2-1 buy down is and how both buyers and sellers can benefit from this. So as Eric mentioned, right now, a lot of the issues that were present in the spring have subsided. And now the biggest deterrent that we're seeing is buyers are discouraged by where interest rates are. So how do we help our buyers, afford to get into a home, and how do we help sellers, with the ability to sell homes? So the 2-1 buy down is a great fix for that. What that basically means is the rate that you lock in at the time that you close on your home, your rate would be 2 points lower than that the first year in your loan. Year 2, it would go up 1 point. And then year 3, it would go back to where you locked. So from a qualification standpoint, we're gonna make sure that you qualify at that rate that it'll eventually go to in year 3. Make sure that that's a comfortable payment for you as a buyer, but you have the comfort of knowing for year 1 and year 2, you're secured at a lower rate.
So let's give an example of this, right? Let's just say hypothetically, for easy math, the actual interest rate is 7%, which isn't far off from where the market is today. That means your very first year in the loan, your interest rate's at 5%. And when you make a payment, the amount of money allocated to principal and interest is based on that 5% rate for the first year. Okay. In year 2, the rate would adjust to 6%.
Correct.
And we would recalibrate that math accordingly. And then at the beginning of year 3, you would adjust to 7%. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct. So if you're a buyer in this market, Eric, how does this really impact a buyer?
Well, your biggest concern right now is how expensive the mortgage payment's going to be along with everything else, right?
Yep.
So this 2-1 buy down program, there's no gotchas with this, right? There's no rule that states you have to remain in the loan a certain number of months or years. There's no penalty if you refinance out of this thing within the buy down window or anything like that at all. It's just a tool for you to pay less in fees and save some money in a rising rate environment, right? So it benefits buyers because it makes the monthly mortgage payment less expensive. And when you do make a payment, more money goes to principal, less money goes to fees. So you're in a better financial situation. It makes swallowing, how expensive rates are a little less awful.
And if you're a seller, this is a great tool to sell your house, right? If your house is sitting on the market right now, if you're continuing to reduce the purchase price, use this to attract buyers.
Right, because that is the number one strategy that we've seen amongst listing agents and homes that are starting to sit because inventory is piling up.
Correct.
They're going to slash the purchase price, right?
Yeah, and so instead of slashing the purchase price, this actually directly impacts the buyer's interest rate, which in turn directly impacts their monthly payment. So if you're a buyer, if you see a 2-1 buy down on a listing that you're looking at, that equates to real dollars for you.
Lauren, you could attest to this, but we've actually taken this information to listing agents and we've gotten some pretty good feedback. More than that, we've gotten some business from this.
Yeah, we actually have the ability to create flyers and help any way we can to get information out that this exists. Mm-hmm. I think, in the past it hasn't been relevant, so a lot of buyers, sellers, agents don't know that this is on the table, but it's a great tool to be creative in the market we're in right now.
Well, in years past, quite honestly, this wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense, right? This didn't make sense earlier this year even.
Yeah.
And they used to exist, years and years ago, but they weren't done correctly. A lot of the qualifications for these buy downs were based on you being able to afford the teaser rate and the teaser rate only. And then the rate would adjust and no one did their job to make sure that you could afford the payment once the rate, would hit its actual number when the buy down period is up.
Yep.
So all of that way of doing business is done. This is thoroughly vetted and it's safe. So if you're in the market to buy a house and you're concerned with rising rates, give us a call. Let's discuss the 2-1 buy down option. And if you're a real estate agent and you're having an issue getting your buyers into contract for one reason or another, or possibly you're having an issue selling a property that's been sitting for a while and you feel like your only recourse is a price reduction, let's have a conversation and talk about the buy down and see how we can help with you going forward.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Lending Hand with Lauren and Eric. We'll see you next time.
See ya.